The 1 year, 1 month, and 3 week mark of a relationship has the potential to be the coolest milestone you reach. And here's why. This is Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, a book largely accredited for popularizing Anders Ericsson's 10,000 hour rule. Through his research on experts, he found that on average it requires 10,000 hours of practice to become an expert. So if you were to practice 7 days a week for 5 hours, that would take you roughly 5.5 years to become an expert. And most of the skills and activities we want to grow in, the clock starts when we begin practice and stops when we do. The beautiful thing about relationships is that clock never stops. You're always in a relationship. Yes, when you're together, you learn things like communication styles, love languages, coping mechanisms, and so on. But even when you're apart, you learn things like who are you as an individual? How do you grow fondness for your partner? How do you plan on showing that gratitude when you're back together? Even at bedtime, not like that, but yes, also like that, you're learning. You learn, is your partner a side sleeper? Do they snore? What is the optimum temperature for you to get the best night of sleep together? Because the clock never stops, you reach your 10,000 hour mark at 1 year, 1 month, and 3 weeks. But those hours have to be as qualitative as they are quantitative. In Grit by Angela Duckworth, she asked Anders, if I've been running since high school, why aren't I in the Olympics right now? To which he clarifies, the 10,000 hours isn't enough. Those hours have to be deliberately geared towards progression. Being in a relationship for 10,000 hours isn't enough to be an expert at it. Each day you'll have to deliberately strive to progress in your relationship, and then that will lead to your expertise. But congratulations, that's not all of it. In 21 Lessons from the 21st Century, a book by Yuval Harari, a book that I don't have in print, he explores the effect that self-learning computers had on the game of chess. There was a time when we believed that grandmasters knew all that there was to know about the board game, but once AI was introduced, they exposed an entire new way of playing the game. Those who had racked up more than their fair share of 10,000 hours were forced to relearn. We see it all the time in sports as new rules are introduced, and they completely alter the landscape that professional athletes had become experts in. Think about the three-point line in basketball or the pitch clock in baseball. These athletes and grandmasters are forced with a decision: continue to learn to stay an expert, fail to learn, lose your expertise. Humans are far more dynamic than a board game or sports, and thus we are frequently changing. And if we don't learn what those changes mean to our partners and to our relationship, we risk falling out of expertise. So, make that 1 year, 1 month, and 3 week milestone count. As those hours rack up, make sure they are aimed towards growing in your relationship and becoming an expert in your relationship and in each other. And never stop learning. Got a real Reading Rainbow type vibe going in here. But don't take my word for it. 90s kids will get that reference. Read these books, they're fun.